So we've decided to talk about the life of workers in Japan and Italy. Both countries offer lifetime job security. We'll need to explain that this term doesn't mean just being guaranteed a job for your adult life. I'll make it clear that it means being guaranteed to keep the same job for all of your adult life. And we should be prepared for arguments. In Japan and Italy, most believe that the insurance of working at the same position for 30 or 40 years is a benefit. However, I bet some of our classmates will argue that such guarantees are not necessary and that change is good. Do you want to talk about Italy first?
Sure. Even though the Prime Minister recently said a job for life would be boring, a lot of Italians disagree. My grandparents grew up in Italy after World War II. One social rule they still believe in is that men especially have to be guaranteed work in order to preserve the family structure.
I'm sure some students will say that does not sound fair to women. If they want to enter the workforce, all the jobs will already be taken by men.
That's a good point. Already, Italians have needed to adapt anyhow. In the 21st century, such permanent jobs are rare. Even I'm starting to wonder if it really is a good plan. I have a friend in Italy who has had 10 different jobs in 5 years. That's depressing.
Actually, I recently read an article connected to that. Research shows that 84% of Italians 18 to 34 would accept less pay in exchange for job security. You might want to include that fact. It's interesting how different things are in the U.S. Remember our teacher telling us how her father worked at the same company for 45 years, but she has already taught at 3 different schools?
Yeah. I guess in the second half of the 20th century, steady jobs were more common everywhere.
For sure, someone is going to ask, but isn't doing the same job year after year boring?
Well, we should point out that it depends on the person. Most jobs eventually require new skills, and under the job for life system, you would never be unemployed. But Italy might be changing its system anyhow. Okay, what about you?
I can talk about Japan. People there have lived with the lifetime employment system forever. Employees promise to work for a company for their entire careers, and the employers promise to keep them.
The class will probably want to know how young people ever get jobs.
Well, of course, they have a smaller population in Japan. The labor force has actually been getting smaller because the population is getting older and retiring.
I've heard there is a lot of team spirit in Japanese companies. I guess that's because workers feel secure in their jobs. Still, I, for one, would like to get the feeling that I was moving up in a company. Maybe I'd like to try a totally new career someday.
Maybe the perfect system would be where there's job security, but workers have the opportunity to change jobs within a company. Either way, with the recent economic crisis, it might be hard to find a job anywhere.